There is something sitting in your kitchen right now, probably in your refrigerator, possibly on your counter, maybe even in the meal you are planning to eat tonight, that is quietly, steadily, and measurably damaging your kidneys every single time you consume it. And the most unsettling part is not that this food is harmful. The most unsettling part is that you almost certainly believe it is healthy. You may have been told by a doctor, a nutritionist, or a well meaning article that this food is good for you. You may have been deliberately eating more of it because you thought you were making a smart choice for your health. And all this time, with every serving, you have been placing an additional burden on two organs that, after the age of 60, are already working harder than they have ever had to work just to keep up with the basic demands of your body. I am not talking about junk food. I am not talking about the obvious culprits that everyone already knows to avoid. I am talking about foods that are sitting in the kitchens of health conscious people, foods that appear on recommended diet lists, foods that your grocery store puts in the wellness aisle. And the reason nobody warned you about them is that for a younger person with fully functioning kidneys, these foods are perfectly fine. But after 60, when your kidneys have already lost a significant percentage of their filtering capacity simply through the normal aging process, the rules change. What was safe at 40 can become genuinely damaging at 65, and nobody recalibrated the advice for you. That is what I am here to do today. My name is Dr. Michael Williams, and over the next 25 minutes, I am going to walk you through 5 specific foods that are placing measurable, documentable stress on your kidneys, explain exactly how each one causes damage at the cellular and functional level, and show you what to replace them with so that you can protect the kidney function you still have. Because here is the truth that most people over 60 do not know. You have likely already lost between 20 and 40% of your kidney function compared to what you had in your 30s. That is normal. That is expected. But it means you are operating with significantly reduced reserves, and the foods you eat are either protecting what remains or accelerating its decline. There is very little middle ground.
Before I reveal these 5 foods, I need you to understand something fundamental about your kidneys. Because without this context, the food recommendations will not make sense, and you will not take them as seriously as you should. Your kidneys are two fist sized organs that sit in the back of your abdominal cavity, just below your rib cage, on either side of your spine. Despite their small size, they receive approximately 20 to 25% of your total cardiac output. That means roughly 1/4 of all the blood your heart pumps with every beat flows directly through your kidneys. Every single day, your kidneys filter approximately 150 quarts of blood, pulling out waste products, excess minerals, toxins, and surplus fluid, and converting all of that into roughly 1 to 2 quarts of urine. Inside each kidney, there are approximately 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Each nephron contains a delicate cluster of miniature blood vessels called a glomerulus, surrounded by a thin membrane that acts as an extraordinarily precise filter. This filter allows waste products and excess substances to pass through into what will eventually become urine, while keeping essential proteins and blood cells inside the bloodstream where they belong. Here is the critical part. You are born with all the nephrons you will ever have. Your body cannot grow new ones. Unlike your liver, which can regenerate tissue, unlike your skin, which replaces itself constantly, your kidneys have a fixed, non-renewable supply of filtering units. And starting around the age of 40, you begin losing nephrons gradually, year after year, through normal wear and attrition. By the time you reach 60, you may have lost 25 to 30% of your original nephrons. By 75, that number can reach 40% or more. The nephrons that remain compensate by working harder, filtering more volume per unit, essentially running overtime to maintain overall kidney function. And they do this remarkably well. So well, in fact, that you may have no symptoms whatsoever. No pain, no obvious changes in urination, nothing that tells you your kidneys are operating at reduced capacity. This compensation is both a blessing and a danger. It is a blessing because it means your body continues to function normally despite significant loss. It is a danger because it masks the decline completely. You feel fine. Your energy is normal, your urine looks normal, everything seems normal. And underneath that appearance of normality, your remaining nephrons are straining under an increasing workload with no backup, no reserves, and no ability to recover if they are pushed past their capacity. This is why kidney disease is called the silent epidemic.
Your kidneys can lose an enormous amount of their function before you feel anything at all. And by the time symptoms do appear, significant, often irreversible damage has already occurred. The foods you eat every day are either supporting those remaining nephrons in their overtime work, or they are overloading them, accelerating their deterioration and pushing you closer to the threshold where your kidneys can no longer compensate. And here is what makes this particularly urgent for anyone over 60. The two most common chronic conditions in seniors, high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, are also the two leading causes of kidney damage. If you have either of these conditions, and statistically there is a very high probability that you do, your kidneys are already under additional stress from the disease process itself. Every dietary choice that adds burden on top of that existing stress compounds the damage. You are not starting from a position of full capacity. You are starting from a position of reduced capacity under existing strain. And that changes the math on what your kidneys can tolerate dramatically. Let us start with the first food, and this one is going to surprise a lot of people because it is widely considered a health food. Food number one, processed deli meats. And I'm including in this category everything from the sliced turkey and ham you put on sandwiches to the packaged chicken breast, salami, bologna, and pre-cooked bacon that millions of Americans consume daily. Here is why these foods are particularly damaging to aging kidneys. The obvious issue is sodium. A single serving of deli turkey, just 3 or 4 slices, the amount most people would put on one sandwich, contains between 400 and 700 milligrams of sodium. That is roughly 1/3 of the entire daily sodium limit recommended for seniors with any degree of kidney compromise. And most people do not eat just one sandwich. They have it for lunch several days a week, often with pickles, mustard, and bread that each add additional sodium. But sodium is only part of the story. Processed meats contain preservatives called nitrates and nitrites that are used to prevent bacterial growth and maintain that appealing pink color. When your body metabolizes these compounds, they generate byproducts that your kidneys must filter and excrete. In a young person with full kidney capacity, this additional filtering load is negligible. But in a senior whose kidneys are already operating with reduced nephron count, every additional filtering demand matters. You are asking kidneys that are already working overtime to take on an extra shift. There is a third layer that makes processed meats particularly problematic. They contain high levels of phosphorus additives, inorganic phosphorus compounds added during processing that are absorbed much more efficiently by your body than the natural phosphorus found in whole foods. When phosphorus levels in your blood rise, your kidneys must work harder to excrete the excess. In seniors with declining kidney function, this excess phosphorus begins to accumulate because the kidneys cannot keep pace. Elevated blood phosphorus triggers a cascade of hormonal responses that pull calcium from your bones, weaken your skeletal system, and damage your blood vessels from the inside. This is not theoretical. It is one of the most well-documented mechanisms of harm in kidney disease progression. The replacement is straightforward. If you enjoy sandwiches, switch to freshly cooked chicken breast, turkey breast, or roast beef that you prepare at home without added sodium or preservatives. Season it yourself with herbs and spices. Slice it yourself. The difference in sodium, phosphorus, and chemical preservative load between a home-roasted chicken breast and a package of deli sliced chicken is staggering. It tastes better too. Food number two,
And this one is going to be controversial because the health and wellness industry has spent billions of dollars convincing you that this food is essential. I am talking about high-dose dairy consumption, specifically the idea that seniors need to drink multiple glasses of milk per day or eat large quantities of yogurt and cheese to protect their bones. Let me be clear about something before I continue. Dairy is not poison. In moderate amounts, it can be part of a healthy diet.
what I am addressing is the excessive dairy consumption pattern that many seniors have adopted based on well-intentioned but poorly contextualized advice about calcium and bone health concerning more calcium. Multiple glasses of milk per day, yogurt with breakfast and as a snack, cheese on everything. This pattern creates a significant problem for aging kidneys. Dairy products are high in both phosphorus and protein. We already discussed phosphorus and its impact on kidneys, but protein is its own issue. When your body metabolizes protein, the process generates nitrogenous waste products, primarily urea and creatinine, that must be filtered and excreted by the kidneys. More protein means more waste products. More waste products means more filtering work for kidneys that are already stretched thin. This does not mean seniors should avoid protein. Protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass, which is critically important as you age. What it means is that the source and quantity of protein matter enormously. A senior with healthy kidneys eating a moderate portion of chicken breast at dinner is giving their kidneys a manageable workload. A senior drinking 3 glasses of whole milk, eating a cup of yogurt, and having cheese with 2 meals is delivering a protein and phosphorus load that their aging kidneys may struggle to process efficiently. The calcium argument is also more nuanced than most people realize. The calcium in dairy is absorbed alongside the phosphorus, and in seniors with any degree of kidney impairment, the phosphorus to calcium ratio can actually work against bone health rather than for it, because elevated phosphorus triggers the parathyroid hormone response that leaches calcium from bones, regardless of how much calcium you are consuming. The smarter approach is to get your calcium from a diversified set of sources, rather than loading up on dairy. Dark leafy greens like kale, broccoli, and bok choy provide highly absorbable calcium without the phosphorus burden. Canned sardines and salmon with bones are excellent sources. Fortified plant milks provide calcium with significantly less phosphorus and protein load than cow's milk. And if your doctor has recommended a calcium supplement, discuss with them what dose is appropriate for your specific kidney function level, because excessive calcium supplementation in the context of declining kidney function carries its own risks. Food number 3: canned soups, canned vegetables, and canned sauces. This entire category of food is a kidney assault that hides behind convenience and the illusion of healthy eating. The sodium content in canned goods is genuinely alarming when you look at the numbers. A single can of tomato soup, the kind that millions of Americans consider a light, healthy lunch, contains between 1,200 and 12,000 milligrams of sodium. That is nearly the entire daily sodium budget for someone with compromised kidney function, consumed in one sitting in one bowl. Canned vegetables, even those labeled as healthy or natural, are preserved in brine solutions that saturate the vegetables with sodium. A can of green beans can contain 400 to 600 milligrams of sodium. A can of mixed vegetables, 500 to 800. A jar of pasta sauce, 900 to 1200 per serving, and most people use more than one serving. When you eat this much sodium, your body retains water to maintain the sodium to water ratio in your blood. Your blood volume increases, your blood pressure rises, and your kidneys, which are responsible for excreting that excess sodium and water, are forced into overdrive. In a younger person, the kidneys handle this efficiently and restore balance within hours. In a senior with reduced nephron count, this compensation takes longer, strains the remaining nephrons more severely, and over time contributes to the progressive deterioration of filtering capacity. But here is the additional factor that most people miss entirely. Many canned foods contain phosphorus-based additives used as preservatives and texture enhancers. Sodium phosphate, phosphoric acid, and calcium phosphate appear on ingredient labels in a significant percentage of canned goods. These inorganic phosphorus compounds are absorbed at a rate of nearly 100%, compared to the 40 to 60% absorption rate of natural phosphorus in whole foods. So the actual phosphorus burden from canned foods is dramatically higher than the nutrition label alone would suggest. The solution is shifting toward fresh or frozen alternatives. Frozen vegetables, which are flash frozen at peak ripeness without added sodium, retain their nutritional value and have virtually no added sodium or phosphorus. They are often less expensive than canned. Fresh vegetables are ideal when available. And for soups, making your own allows you to control exactly how much sodium enters the pot. A homemade vegetable soup seasoned with herbs, garlic, pepper, and a small amount of salt contains a fraction of the sodium in its canned equivalent and tastes dramatically better. I want to pause here for a moment and address something that I know some viewers are thinking. You might be saying to yourself, Dr. Williams, I have been eating these foods my entire life and my kidneys are fine. And you may be right. Your last blood work may have shown normal kidney function. But I want you to consider two things. First, kidney function is measured by a number called GFR, glomerular filtration rate. A GFR above 90 is considered normal, but a GFR of 60 to 89 is classified as stage 2 chronic kidney disease, mildly reduced function, and a significant number of adults over 60 fall into this range without knowing it because they feel completely fine. If you have not had your GFR checked recently, you may be operating with less kidney reserve than you think. Second, the damage from these dietary patterns does not appear suddenly. It accumulates over years and decades. The kidneys you have at 75 are the product of every meal you ate at 60, 65, and 70. The choices you make today determine the kidney function you will have in 5 and 10 years. This is not about fear, it is about foresight. Food number 4, instant and packaged noodle products. This includes ramen, instant noodles, boxed macaroni and cheese, flavored rice packets, and the entire category of just add water meal products that have become staples in many senior households because they are cheap, easy to prepare, and require minimal effort. These products are a perfect storm of kidney damaging ingredients concentrated into a single meal. The sodium content is extraordinary. A single package of instant ramen contains between 1,500 and 2,000 milligrams of sodium. That is an entire day's worth of sodium for someone with healthy kidneys, and it far exceeds the safe limit for anyone with reduced kidney function. Boxed macaroni and cheese contains between 700 and 1,100 milligrams per serving, and most people eat the entire box, which is labeled as containing 2 to 3 servings. Beyond sodium, these products are loaded with phosphorus additives. Sodium tripolyphosphate, tetrasodium pyrophosphate, and disodium phosphate are commonly listed in the ingredient panels of these foods. These compounds are added to improve texture, extend shelf life, and enhance the way the product absorbs water during cooking. They contribute a substantial inorganic phosphorus load that your kidneys must process and excrete. There is also the issue of what these foods lack. They contain virtually no potassium from natural sources, no meaningful fiber, no antioxidants, none of the protective nutrients that support kidney health. They are essentially a delivery system for sodium, phosphorus, refined carbohydrates, and chemical additives, with nothing beneficial to offset the harm. The practical replacement depends on what attracted you to these foods in the first place. If it was convenience, batch cooking simple meals on a weekend and portioning them for the week ahead provides the same ease of preparation without the kidney-damaging ingredient profile. A pot of homemade soup, a batch of brown rice with roasted vegetables, or grilled chicken portions stored in the refrigerator can be reheated in the same time it takes to boil water for instant noodles. If it was cost, dried beans, lentils, whole grains, frozen vegetables, and eggs are among the least expensive foods available and are dramatically more kidney-friendly than any processed packet meal. Food number 5, and this is the one that generates the most resistance when I discuss it with patients because it involves a beverage that many people consider an indispensable part of their daily routine: excessive dark cola consumption, and to a broader extent, any regular intake of phosphoric acid containing soft drinks. Dark colas, both regular and diet versions, contain phosphoric acid as a primary flavoring agent. This is the ingredient that gives cola its characteristic tangy bite. Phosphoric acid delivers a concentrated dose of inorganic phosphorus directly into your bloodstream with extremely high absorption efficiency. A single 12-ounce can of cola contains approximately 40 to 70 milligrams of phosphorus in a form that your body absorbs almost completely. That may sound modest compared to food sources, but consider the consumption pattern. Many people drink 2, 3, or more cans per day. Over the course of a week, that phosphorus load accumulates significantly. But phosphoric acid does something beyond simply adding to your phosphorus burden. It actively interferes with your body's calcium balance. Phosphoric acid binds to calcium in the digestive tract, reducing absorption. It also acidifies the blood slightly, and your body compensates by pulling calcium from your bones to act as a buffer. This double mechanism, increased phosphorus combined with decreased calcium, creates exactly the mineral imbalance that accelerates kidney disease progression and simultaneously weakens bones. There is also the fluid displacement issue. Every can of cola you drink is a glass of water you did not drink. An adequate water intake is foundational to kidney health because water is the vehicle your kidneys use to flush waste products. When your primary fluid intake comes from phosphoric acid-containing sodas rather than water, you are simultaneously increasing the waste your kidneys must process and reducing the fluid they need to do the processing. It is the worst possible combination. The replacement is simple, but requires honesty with yourself about habit versus necessity. Water is the ideal fluid for kidney health. Plain, simple water. If you find plain water unappealing, add a slice of lemon, lime, or cucumber. Herbal teas, both hot and iced, provide variety without phosphoric acid, excessive sodium, or artificial additives. And if the carbonation is what you crave, sparkling water or seltzer provides that fizz without the phosphorus. It is not the bubbles that harm you. It is the phosphoric acid. Now that we have covered the 5 foods, I want to give you a broader framework for eating in a way that protects your kidneys for the long term, because avoiding 5 specific foods is important, but it is not the complete picture. The single most protective dietary pattern for aging kidneys is one that emphasizes whole, minimally processed foods with controlled sodium, moderate protein from high quality sources, abundant fruits and vegetables, and adequate hydration. This is not a radical diet. It does not require expensive specialty foods or complicated meal plans. It requires a shift in awareness and a handful of practical substitutions that become second nature within a few weeks. Let me give you a practical picture of what a kidney protective day of eating actually looks like. Breakfast might be oatmeal made with water or a small amount of low fat milk, topped with fresh blueberries and a handful of walnuts. No processed breakfast meats, no high sodium canned biscuits, no sugary cereals that contain hidden phosphorus additives. Lunch could be a salad with fresh vegetables, grilled chicken breast that you cooked yourself, olive oil and vinegar dressing, and a piece of whole grain bread. Not a deli meat sandwich on processed white bread with a side of canned soup. Dinner might be baked salmon with roasted vegetables and brown rice, seasoned with garlic, lemon, herbs, and a modest amount of salt that you control. Not a frozen meal or boxed pasta product where the manufacturer decided how much sodium and phosphorus went into your body. The difference between these two patterns of eating is not taste. Both can be delicious. It is not cost, because whole foods are often less expensive per serving than their processed equivalents. The difference is control. When you eat whole, minimally processed foods, you are the one deciding how much sodium, phosphorus, and protein enters your body. When you eat processed, packaged, canned, or instant foods, someone in a factory made those decisions for you, and their priority was shelf life, flavor intensity, and cost reduction, not your kidney function. Have a conversation with your doctor about your specific kidney numbers. Ask for your GFR and your creatinine level. If your GFR is above 90, you have full kidney function, and the dietary principles I described today are preventative. If your GFR is between 60 and 89, you have mildly reduced function, and these dietary changes become significantly more important. If your GFR is below 60, you have moderate to severe kidney impairment, and you should be working with a nephrologist and a renal dietitian to customize your nutrition plans specifically to your lab values. The good news in all of this, and I do want to leave you with good news because this can feel overwhelming, is that your kidneys are remarkably responsive to dietary changes. Reducing sodium intake lowers the filtering burden almost immediately. Reducing phosphorus intake begins shifting mineral balance within weeks. Increasing water intake improves waste clearance from the first day you start. You cannot regenerate lost nephrons. That damage is permanent. But you absolutely can slow the rate of further decline, protect the nephrons you still have, and in many cases, improve your kidney function numbers measurable through dietary changes alone. I have seen patients improve their GFR by 5, 10, even 15 points simply by making the substitutions I described in this video. No new medications, no procedures, just informed, consistent dietary choices that removed the burden their kidneys had been silently struggling under for years. Before I close, I want to speak to caregivers and family members who prepare meals for an older adult. If you are cooking for a parent, spouse, or loved one over 60, you are in a position of extraordinary influence over their kidney health. The meals you prepare, the groceries you buy, the recipes you choose determine a significant portion of the sodium, phosphorus, and protein their kidneys must process every single day. Please take the information in this video seriously on their behalf. Read the labels on the foods in your pantry. Check the sodium content of the canned goods in your cabinet. Look at how much processed meat is in your refrigerator. Small changes in what you purchase and prepare can produce meaningful improvements in the kidney health of someone you love, improvements they may not know to ask for because they do not know their kidneys are at risk. And if the person you care for has diabetes or high blood pressure, both of which are leading causes of kidney disease, the dietary changes I described today are not optional considerations. They are essential protective measures that directly reduce the rate at which those conditions damage kidney tissue. Every meal is either helping or hurting. There is very little neutral ground. Let me bring it all together. Your kidneys are filtering organs that lose capacity with age. By 60, you are operating with significantly reduced reserves. The 5 foods placing the greatest unnecessary burden on your aging kidneys are processed deli meats, excessive dairy, canned soups and vegetables, instant and packaged noodle products, and phosphoric acid-containing dark colas. Each of these delivers a combination of excess sodium, inorganic phosphorus, preservatives, and metabolic waste products that your reduced nephron count struggles to process efficiently. The replacements are practical and accessible. Fresh cooked meats instead of deli sliced, diversified calcium sources instead of dairy overloading, frozen or fresh vegetables instead of canned, batch cooked whole food meals instead of instant packets, and water, herbal tea, or sparkling water instead of cola. Get your GFR tested, know your number, and make the informed, deliberate choice to eat in a way that protects the kidney function you still have, rather than accelerating its decline. If this video opened your eyes to something you did not know, if it changed how you think about even one item in your kitchen, please subscribe to this channel. I release new videos every week dedicated to giving seniors the specific, practical, honest health information that the standard medical system does not have time to deliver. And if you know someone over 60 who eats any of the foods I described today, share this video with them. The earlier they make these changes, the more kidney function they preserve. And that preservation translates directly into years of health, independence, and quality of life. I am Dr. Michael Williams. Take care of your kidneys. They have been taking care of you your entire life, and they deserve your attention now. Drink your water, and I will see you in the next video.